And Donald Trump has described the situation in Gaza as terrible. Speaking to reporters, Trump said that despite contributing $60 million for food aid in Gaza, he's seen no results.
Oh, it's terrible what's occurring there, yeah. It's a terrible thing. People are very hungry. You know, the United States gave $60 million for food, and it's a shame because nobody, I don't see the results of it. And we gave it to people that in theory are watching over it fairly closely. We wanted Israel to watch over it. Part of the problem is Hamas is taking the money and they're taking the food.
Now, Trump has sent his special envoy Steve Witkoff to Israel to discuss the disintegrating humanitarian situation in Gaza and a possible ceasefire. Images released by Israeli government press office showed Witkoff and Netanyahu shaking hands and sitting in for the meeting. This is the first meeting between Witkoff and Netanyahu since both Israel and the U.S. called their negotiation teams home from Qatar a week ago. This meeting is taking place as Israel faces mounting international pressure over Gaza, with Canada the latest Western power to say it will recognize a Palestinian state. Now, Trump expressed his displeasure with France, the United Kingdom and Canada, announcing their plan to recognize a Palestinian state in September, saying that doing so is equivalent to rewarding Hamas. Listen to this.
The president expressed his displeasure and his disagreement with the leaders of France, the United Kingdom, and Canada. He feels as though that's rewarding Hamas at a time where Hamas is the true impediment to a ceasefire and to the release of all of the hostages.
Now, be that as it may, the situation on the ground remains dire, with Israeli offensive in Gaza continuing with heavy strikes hitting the Strip. German Foreign Minister called the humanitarian crisis in Gaza beyond imagination and unacceptable, adding that each day men, women and children are being killed for food.
Im ganzen Gazastreifen leiden Menschen.
The humanitarian disaster in Gaza is beyond imagination. People throughout the Gaza Strip are suffering from hunger. Every day, women, men and children are killed in their desperate search for food. This is a completely unacceptable situation that must change immediately. That is why I emphasized to my discussion partners today that we need a fundamental improvement of the situation for the people in the Gaza Strip.
On Friday, Madrid will airdrop 12 tons of food over the Gaza Strip using Spanish Air Force planes that have arrived in Jordan. On the other hand, Slovenia has announced plans to ban all weapons trade with Israel over the war in Gaza, becoming the first European country to ban the import, export and transit of weapons to and from Israel. Last year, its parliament passed a decree recognizing Palestinian statehood. On Thursday, the armed wing of the Palestinian militant group, the Islamic Jihad Al-Quds Brigade, shared a video of a hostage who has been identified as Israeli-German Rom Braslavsky. He was abducted in October 2023. Pressure is mounting on Netanyahu and his government as Israelis protest to demand the release of hostages and demand a ceasefire. On Thursday, families of Israeli hostages held by Hamas staged a protest outside Netanyahu's office in Jerusalem, holding banners and photographs of hostages.
President Trump, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and Witkoff, please end this nightmare for all the Israeli people, end this nightmare for all the families that cannot live anymore, end this nightmare for the hostages in the tunnels, doesn't have breathe, doesn't have food. Please help us to finish this.
Now, hundreds of demonstrators also staged a protest in Athens calling an end to the conflict and more aid to be allowed into the enclave.